Hey there, comic book friends and fiends. It's Rob in front of the Great Wall of Comics. Special shout out there to the hardest working twerk in all of comic books, Tyler of Whack Comics. But we have a special. This is our Halloween special. You can tell we're dressed up because we're psychopathic killers, just like we look like everybody else. But with me, filling in, or no, actually dressed up in costume, uh, ladies and gentlemen, Chris the Comic Vet dressed as Tylox the Mighty. Congratulations. I love what you've done with your costume, sir.
Hey. Did that sound convincing at all?
Nobody will suspect a thing.
Nobody will know.
The camera angle's a little different than usual, but
A little different. And there's stuff on my walls.
So. Well, green screen. Magic.
It's a green screen.
Magic or green screen.
Yeah,
Nobody would guess it. I do love the weight loss commitment and how fast you grew facial hair and a mullet.
Yeah, I found this Hollywood diet where basically all I drink and eat is water and ice cubes. And so, yeah, you lose weight pretty quick that way.
That's awesome. No, in all honesty, everybody, Tylox the Mighty filling in for Chris the Comic Vet today. Big surprise. Chris has a life outside of YouTube and cannot just at a whim decide to be on both days in the middle of the day for him. And Tylox said, hey, horror, Halloween, I'm a Huckleberry.
Yeah, I'm down.
The other guy who said, hey, I'm your Huckleberry to this and was super excited and the impetus of a special occasion here. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest, Dope Comics. How you doing, sir?
What is going on? It's the greatest time of the year.
It's spooky time.
Devil's Night. It's the day before Halloween.
There you go. Yeah. For me, this year is a light year. I don't have my kids are both away. And my wife, when she said, well, should we put up the decorations outside? I said, well, I as much as I love putting up the decorations, I hate taking them down. And I was just like, they're already put away. I mean, I don't have to put them away. On the inside of the house is Halloween all the time anyways, just because we have, I love the classic horror stuff. We've got Nightmare Before Christmas stuff all over the place because that's been my thing for so long. And gargoyles and all kinds of other stuff that we used to collect. But hey, happy to have you here. This is without a doubt one of the most fun holidays, without a doubt. And the way that it goes hand in hand with horror, and the fact that the history of horror comics is really fascinating. I was completely unaware of how deep it was until really back when one of my other shows I used to do with Slotted Up, we used to do a show called Sidekicks Talk Comics, and we had a whole episode was focused on horror comics, and actual Dracula came on and really went through some of the kind of history on some of it, which I was unaware of, and it's been kind of fascinating ever since. I mean, but before we get into the show and do all that, there is the eternal need for us to do the YouTube thing that every YouTube live does, and that is to play
Romper Bomper, Stomper Boo, tell me do. Magic Mirror, tell me today, did all my friends have fun at play?
Well, we know that Jean Malot is here, and he's happy to play, along with Chop and Drop and Les Crucius, who just want to say hey. Blue Hellion Comics and El Green Machine. Don't forget Brian LCS. And I'm running out of names here. There's Mad Spidey, all the way from Aussie land. And I'm out of rhymes, too. But I'm not good at any of this. So just kind of went on a string. Let's see. Blue Hellion, yes. How you feel disturbed every time you see that clip of Tyler? Well, yes, it is meant. If you ever feel comfortable watching 30 seconds of Tyler humping the air, then you might want to have yourself committed, probably.
Yeah.
Kyle, how are you doing? Thank you for coming and joining us here. Joffrey Castro, thank you for coming. The PSN Green Hulkster, yes, definitely great to have you. Eli, Vision Eye View TV, spooky. Let's see who else we got. Gary B, the casual comic guy. He's listening while he's unpacking. Just moved into his new place.
Nice.
Stephen C, how are you doing? Your books went out yesterday. Congratulations on the win. Legion of Comics, Mr. Mark, how are you doing there? Rob's mustache. Oh goodness. Okay, and Kyle. Yes, actually good. All right, cool. So glad to have everybody here with us. Guys, even though it's our special, we will do the same. Make sure you're paying attention. We will halfway through stop and give away some comics and do it again at the end. Yeah, without much ado, let's get into the show because I know that we're competing against the NFL, and there's some people who actually care and probably are maybe even multitasking, watching us at the same time, or even be co-hosting and watching football at the same time. I don't know.
Maybe. Good luck, Brian. You're going to need
it. But Dope, let's start with the obvious question. What got you into horror comics?
When I was a kid, I was always in the darker stuff. Everybody was watching Spider-Man and Friends, and I was probably watching Scooby-Doo. And from Scooby-Doo, when I was 10 years old, Lost Boys came out.
Yes.
That just changed everything. 1987, I wanted a dirt bike and a mullet and a crosshair ring, and I wanted to be Keith Sullivan. I wanted to be Tylox when I was about 10 years old. So,
faggots, Michael. You're eating faggots.
Yeah. I want to live in a cave and have a hot girl and live on the beach. And and also in 1987,
just down the street.
Santa
Cruz Boardwalk's just not too far from here.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I like Monster Squad too. That was 1987. I was 10 years old, and it's kind of like Goonies with monsters in it, you know. So I've just always been into horror movies. So I just didn't want. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I never got into the modern horror stuff as much. I mean, Halloween I did to some degree because I had a friend who would always do Halloween movies or Halloween party where we would go over to his house and stay over and do a Halloween marathon, which back then you could do in one night because there was only like 4 or 5 movies and we usually would skip Season of the Witch because, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's Season of the Witch. But so you do the 1, 2, 4, 5, and then that was kind of cool. But for me, I was always the classic MGM monsters, the Wolfman, the Frankenstein, the Dracula, and then later on would get into the B movie. The 50s and 60s B movie stuff was huge for me, not only from watching creature features and dialing for dollars and stuff late at night and stuff, but to watching, you know, MST3K and yelling at them to shut up and let me watch the movie, and then having to go rent the movie that they were making fun of because I wanted to see that.
Yeah, I think being a kid, I lived right beside a VHS rental store. And there was always that one aisle you wasn't supposed to go down, which was the horror aisle. And, you know, I'd always go down there and there's the half-clad women and, you know, Lingerie Massacre and all these B titles and C titles. And we found one person when I was a kid that would rent them to us when they were on shift. And so we'd always, you know, you want to do what you can't do. And so since we weren't supposed to watch them, that's all I wanted to watch.
One of my favorite pickups of all time was as DVD had strongly made its mark on the world, and Laserdisc was long waning at this point. Full Moon Studios had a deal trying to clear out their Laserdisc inventory, where if you bought a dozen Laserdiscs, you were buying them for $2 a disc.
Oh my god!
And I ended up with, you know, Subspecies 2, Subspecies Dollman versus the Demonic Toys, Slime Ball Girls in the Slime Bowl around. I don't know.
Even the bad day horror movies are good. So that's the only category when you watch a bad movie and it's still good.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause, like, I like Sleepaway Camp. It's awful, but I love it. And I love Creep Show too. Stuff like that. It's bad, but I love it.
Yeah, and I've mentioned on this show that I love. I'm probably one of 4 people on the planet who actually really enjoy yoga hosers, because before I ever sat down to watch the movie, I had watched an interview with Kevin Smith, and when he said that it was basically not only was it one, yes, a movie avenue for his daughter, but 2 was meant to be an homage to Full Moon Studios.
Okay.
And once I went into it, understanding that that's what the purpose of the movie was, I fell in love with it because it truly was an homage to a Full Moon Studio with the little freaking sausage guys and going up people's asses and all this other stuff. So I totally dig it and love to watch it over. I've watched that movie over and over and over again. And probably, like I said, I probably watch it more than Kevin Smith. And I actually truly enjoy it.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about movies as much as we could probably do that for a whole couple hours. We are here, in fact, to take a look at some comics, and that's what the people want to talk about. Although, what is this? Rob asked Hogs, do you love eating brains? Hogs would eat. Yes. Okay. Anyway, so let's go ahead and let's make you big here. Give you the position of honor and hit us with the first book. What book made the cut to be number one?
Well, I feel like this book needs to go number one because of the historical value. You know, the king of all pre-code horror is EC. You know,
yes,
it's not the rarest, but it's the biggest. And this right here is the first ever EC horror book. Ooh. It's from 1947, and it's called International Comics.
Okay.
What you're looking at here is in 1947, International Comics, EC, EC stands for Educational Comics. And International Comics is a branch of Educational Comics.
Yeah.
And Educational Comics made stuff like for schools, Christian literature, made history stuff, made stuff for libraries. And that's all EC was doing.
That was so interesting because that's nothing what they're known for today, right?
Well,
you think EC, you think horror, you think sci-fi.
Yeah.
And sci-fi horror.
Well, that's how they made their money. And this is 1947 when that happened. And their owner, Max Gaines, he died.
Max Gaines. That's a wrestler right there. That's Max Gaines, baby.
He died in a boating accident in 1947, and his son took over, which is William Gaines. And he decided he wanted to do shock. He wanted to do horror. He wanted to do all this other stuff. Yeah. But he also didn't want to hurt the business. And so he came out with International Comics. And it was just to see if they could put out stuff like horror and it not really destroy the business. And this is one of their number one selling books. And so since this book sold so well, this is number 4 from 1947. They did an action one. They did a shock one. This was the horror one. They only did 6 different books. And they sold so well that they went on with it. And they started, you know, all the stuff we get now, like Tales from Crypt.
Yeah.
All that is all because of this book. So,
and here we go, the clown that kicks off the horror film.
Yeah,
the horror books, right? It's like
there's only 11 of these on the CGC. So, wow. And you think about CGC's been around since what, 2000? So
somewhere
22 years, or about one every 2 years, one comes across the desk. So
you know, I do find it's interesting. Well, not only is, first of all, these books, there's not as many survivors, right? It's obviously been a few years. We're talking close to 80 years for this book. So that always plays a significant role into it. But I also find there's a lot more, I think, of the collectors in this realm that really like the raw books and you know, there's a lot of especially the long-term collectors on these, they've had them for so long. They grew up before this whole idea of grading and slabbing stuff. They want to be able to appreciate them the way they are. And so you see a lot more of these, I find, when they come up raw, just from that standpoint.
Yeah. But this being a trial run, you never know if they really produced that many of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Before they came up with a whole horror line. But this was the first ever horror book. So this is.
Yeah. And Gene, you're right. Colors are real nice. That's when we find the paper quality that was used at the time. Even though this is, you know, essentially, you know, war era type stuff, it was always seemed to is a much better paper than there was today, and you know, probably toxic inks. Let's just be honest. I mean, I'm sure none of these inks that they used back then are probably inks that we can use today. No. And they had staying power. Just don't lick them.
And if you think about it, back in the day, it had to be on a shelf, so it had to pop. You know, it had to draw your eye to it because everything in there. And that's another thing. If you look at all EC books, they got these big headers because you know they were covered up with another book like right here.
Yep,
so
exactly.
All you could read was the header. So you had
That's
to make
why the trade dress was always very important to be big, bold, and at the top.
Yeah,
was because the way you stacked on a tiered rack, you always wanted your logo to stand out. And then once somebody lifted it to look at your logo, then the art was secondary.
And it was shocking too. Most of the time, it'd be like, "Whoop!" So So that is number 1. Number 2 is an Avon book. It's from 1952. This is Phantom Witch Doctor, number 1, and they only made 1 issue. This has good girl art, voodoo, everything you'd want. If you look close in his eyes, the witch doctor's eyes, you see the skulls in there.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, I do.
And I like combining the good girl art with the horror books. So
who's the artist on this?
This one here is let's see, Everett Kitzler.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I know sometimes it's a crapshoot as to whether any of the artists are known on these books.
Especially Avon. There's not a lot of Avon out there.
Well, yeah, but you had a lot of these comic books and stuff were churned out of publication houses, and they were just like, this was done by Crew A, and maybe whoever was working on it. So you always find that there's so many. It's speculation sometimes. It's very rare that these artists even sign stuff. Cover artists are more likely to get noticed or be credited these days based on either people recognize the art style or something. But yeah,
you could get a howdy cowboy that smokes cigarettes if you wanted the toy too. So
there you are.
Or that's important. Baby girl or doll that wets herself. So.
Well, that's the best part of having a baby, right? Was having to change diapers. So why not teach that to children at a young age by giving them a doll that pisses itself,
or it smokes at early age,
Right, that's right. What could go wrong? But then again, you had doctors advertising how healthy the cigarettes were, right?
Yeah,
back then.
Yeah.
So
yeah, half a day keeps the doctor away.
Obviously, the medical knowledge may have changed a little bit.
Yeah, because last night I watched Night of the Living Dead from 1968, and they were smoking. Every person in there was smoking constantly. Mm-hmm. And you think every movie person, I guess, smoked back in the day. So,
yep.
But this next one is the first ever pre-code horror book I ever picked up. It is Black Cat Mystery Comics number 33.
Oh, nice!
Right out of the electric chair.
Yeah. So.
I love that. And they got old Sparky back there in the background. And
yeah, kind of reminds me of that early 90s movie Shocker. I don't know if you ever seen that.
Oh, yeah. I love Shocker. Great soundtrack, too.
But it's really rad. It's a really cool book.
Yeah. What's the grade on this one? This is like a 4 or?
It's 4.5 on this one.
4.5? Okay. That was a pretty good guess for what little I could see.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of these I look for years, and I'll take them in a 1.8 or a 6.0. I don't care. If I can find one, I grab it.
When I'm doing the same thing with like the sci-fi stuff, there's two combinations I look for. One is in a price range I'm willing to spend, because some of them can be just really out there.
Yeah.
And second is just at the end of the day, how does it present? I don't care if it's a 3 or a 2.5 or something. If the main part of the artwork looks good, I mean, I don't even care if it's got a cutout on the interior page or something that doesn't affect the story. If I'm going to encapsulate it as a piece of art, which is essentially what I'm doing with some of these things, then I don't care. That's the most important thing, is what's the front cover look like at the end of the day.
Yeah. I usually go after one that presents well, and I try to always get a blue label. I don't care about the grade, but I just want it complete, and I want it to present well.
No, I don't mind on a Golden Age book a purple label, to be honest, because it was very common at the time, especially if I can shave several $100s off. I don't mind. I don't actually own one, surprisingly, but I'm always not afraid to look at them.
But if it was color touch or a little glue or something like that, I don't care. But I don't like the ones where half the book's been reassembled and it's not really a Golden Age. It's
or if it's a bridged, or somebody pieced multiple books together to make a book or something. Okay, I could. There's definitely a limit, maybe
different levels to the purple level.
Yeah, but maybe it's still one of those books where, like, it's normally a $10,000 book and I can get it for a couple $100s.
I think one of the problems you've encountered with collecting horror books is what are they worth? I mean, you look them up on eBay, there are no sales, somebody wants $600 for it. I mean, like, how do you gauge that?
You go back and the last one I sold was 6 years ago, and then you got to figure out what you're willing to pay for it. And if it's an auction, there's been times I'm willing to give $2,000 for a book and it goes for $440 or something. And then there's been other times that I thought I was going to get it cheap and it ended up going for $2,000. So you never know. It only takes 2 people to want it.
Yeah, that's the thing with these eras. It's a matter of, there's not a lot of sales history. So sometimes you're just looking at even, okay, I'm looking at a book that's a 4, but there was actually a recent sale, but that recent sale was an 8. Okay, well, how much did it jump from its previous sale to try to determine where, what kind of percentage increase might be in the neighborhood of a fair thing. But then it's really just comes down to how much are you willing to pay, and is there a competitor against you on it? And it's just what it is.
Yeah, because sometimes there's none. I mean, there ain't been a sale at all. Any book,
Especially when you're talking about a book that there's like, okay, there's 11. Okay, there's 11.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if all 11 have been sold in the last 12 months, and you have a recent sales history for all of them. All it takes is 2 people to want one of those 11 right then and there, and all of a sudden now that they're going to set the new standard for where that is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I've become the grumpy old man, but I used to be like, well, there's only 11, and they're probably locked up by some old man somewhere. Nobody's selling them. But now when I get one, I don't sell it either. So, it's just the way it works.
It won't come up again for quite some time.
Yeah. Mine won't ever come up.
And of course, PS and Gracious is hard to find the uncensored horror comics. They're very the pre-code horror comics have become extremely popular.
Yes.
And they're, as a result, there's only so many of them. It's definitely a more challenging area. That's where people will tell you that if you want to get into some of the horror comics, and you don't want to spend necessarily a lot, you might want to look at some of the post-code horror comics, just because there's still a lot of really good covers out there that you can start to get into at a reasonable rate, without necessarily having to go. And then you can start to dip your toe into the.
1 month can save you $1,000, because the pre-code started out halfway through 55. So that 1 month, there's great covers that have the actual code on it,
Yeah.
But nobody wants them. People love the DC 70s horror, but they don't think about the pre-code between there and 55.
Yeah.
So, but since we was rolling with Black Mystery, here's another Black Mystery comics. Here's number 48, and it's a Lee Elias cover.
Oh, nice.
You got a zombie coming out of the water, and you got a guy that's been stranded on the island. So we're going to have a standoff here.
Or they're going to have a date night.
Yeah. Finally, you got a new friend, right?
What stays on the deserted island, stay.
Well, yeah. It's really, a lot of these black cats are really got a lot of color to them. So
yeah, no, I love the color that the transitional color in their logo.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Tony, that's a much more affordable range to be in.
Yeah.
DC Bronze, for sure.
And my last Black Cat Mystery book, another Lee Elias cover. This is probably my favorite one. It is really colorful. Here's a dead body floating on the water.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And you can see the blood. Let's see. Right here. It's coming out of his mouth, and it goes down his leg.
The detail on these books, man, it's second to none.
Yeah.
I mean, these artists back then, man, they weren't banging. I mean, actually, they still were banging stuff out. That's the crazy stuff. But the old school techniques is what I love. Look, there's a lot of great computer generated friggin' art. Don't get me wrong, but there is still just something that you cannot touch when you get into these hand done, hand painted, whatever, these different styles that they were using. You just don't get. I don't know. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I love those stuff. It's hard to believe that, and if you think about it, you got to respect a lot of the pre-code. That's what I do on my channels. I try to just make people aware of the pre-code because, it's 70 to 80 years old. It wasn't meant to last. You had moisture. You had paper drives. You had, all these people that were having book burnings.
We did paper. I mean, look. I remember as a kid doing paper drives all the time. Those were a big deal. People would all the time clearing out all this paper from your home and stuff, and it was worth good money actually back then.
Well,
and plus, the war efforts and stuff, depending on some of them when they came out and everything else. Yeah, and they were passed around, and
the whole pre-code authority, came out, and you had all these people that were in charge of the cities that were having book burnings and saying it was polluting your kid's mind, and they burned thousands and thousands of books.
Yeah, that's why I've always had a problem coming across it. I probably the same as you coming across it in this area, because real religious area, all that stuff is pretty much gone.
Yeah, you can keep your Superman, but they got rid of all these other books,
Yeah.
And back then, you only had two forms of media. You had your comic strips and your newspapers and comic books. Then you had the radio. There wasn't no TV. There wasn't no phones. Nope. It was a lot bigger than, kids traded these books, and supposedly is polluting everybody's mind, reading these things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Well, then later on, TV took over, then video games, and now the internet. So it's okay.
Yeah. Kids are always. Here's a really nice thing. 16. This is from 1954. And somehow this one's a 9. So
what?
Wow.
Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, now you're pulling out the high grades.
Yeah, this is a really black cover, really white where it says the thing. I got lucky and just found this one and bought it up. I thought I'd never see another 9. So wow. I got new books I read all the time. They're not 9, so
especially Marvels.
Yeah,
the way they their paper.
Yeah, Marvel and Dark Horse, they're wavy as soon as you get them.
Yep.
So,
what are your thoughts on Boris Karloff comics?
I love them. I have them all. I love all the Dell, all the Golden Key. I pick them up all the time. They're some of the cheapest ways to collect. I also like House of Secrets, House of Mystery. I like all that 70s stuff. Dark Mansion, Sinister House. I collect all of that. That stuff makes me just as happy as this stuff. But a lot of people know about that stuff. They don't know about this stuff, and they're like, "How could I want something if I didn't know it exists?" But when they see it, they're like, "Yeah, I want to start collecting that."
And the fact that you got a 9.0, that is like, what was the journey of that book? It was like getting in a stack of newspapers or something, and somebody just found it.
And underneath the notes it says injury to eye panel. So I guess there's people that collect injured eyes. So I guess there's a panel here that's awful famous where a guy gets injured in the eye. So
okay. Yeah, usually I see things in notes about different ads for different future books that are coming out that then turn out to be big books. Are never about somebody's eye injury or something. But
here we have a pink cover. You don't see that much in the horror world.
Unless, wait a second, read its comment again, what it says exactly, if you don't mind.
Let's see on that one. Injury to eye panel.
Oh, so that's actually going to be then part of the story.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be kind of like one of those subgenres, because some people really have real problem. When you watch any horror movie where somebody's like also like needle coming at the eyeball or something, that really is very like, a lot of people have serious issues with that concept, and it's kind of like a subgenre of collections, very similar to like the Bondage or something else like that, or Severed Heads, or
really squeamish.
Yeah, it really does. So I'm assuming that's it. I've never seen that called out before. That's really interesting.
I was about to say, there was an issue of Red Room that came out recently where it had like a needle going towards a guy's eye, and somebody showed it on their YouTube channel, and I was like, nope, can't.
Cody says, crack it. Let's take a look.
Yeah, can't do it.
Oh, man. All right, the next one. You don't see many pink covers in pre-code horror, but this one has a nice pink cover. This is Web of Evil number 8.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And it's got a cool, let's see, right here, it's got a cool date stamp. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but.
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
It's a July 22nd, 1954 stamp.
See, I love those covers with guys like, the like cloaked figures, either like death or, ghouls or something like that. I love those.
There's a barbershop back there. It looks like the streets of Philly or somewhere, and you got that giant Grim Reaper coming over the top of the building. This dude's choking on a chicken nugget or something. I don't know what's going on down here, but
He's using it's really Darth Vader, and he's using the Force, or the Emperor. He's using the Force choke on the guy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's it's early Star Wars.
Before Star Wars. Where Vader got it from. Yeah.
These things have so much more dialogue than new books. You know, I mean, there's 4 stories in this one book here alone.
Yeah, that's these books are fun. The stories are like 5 pages long.
Yeah, the Creature of Doom, Flame and Vengeance.
But those pages are packed with they're verbose, and it's like if you read these books, it's a read. It's even though the stories aren't very long to illustrate them, I mean, they tend to be verbose, and yeah.
Well, you'd have 4 nighttime stories here if you was a kid and you was reading this for a week, so.
There you go. One each night before I go to bed, and then I won't have any bad dreams. I swear.
Oh man! All right, here's another number 1. This is Beware of Terror Tales number 1. This is Fawcett This is from 1952.
Oh, nice.
A lot of devil heads and ghouls. I like floating head covers, So I don't know if it's considered floating heads, but they're all
about. Yeah. It's like, he's in a graveyard, and then he's just on this little.
Yeah, but it's really, really white, really in good shape. This one's a 6.0, and it's number 1 of the series. So that is that one, and it's got a cool back on this one.
Oh yeah.
What grade?
Go ahead. Subscribe.
This is a 6.0.
Okay, yeah. I was about to say, yeah, it's actually still white. Like it's really that's something I love about white backgrounds. Is everybody's like, I hate them because it's hard to keep them clean looking, but I love it because if you get a clean one after it's been out for years and years.
You think about all the years in comic book stores and people smoking. Everybody smoked back in the day.
Yep.
It's hard to find a white one. And next we're going to this magazine is haunted, and this magazine's haunted number 2, and this one is from 1951.
Oh, nice.
And this one is a 7.5.
Love
that little Solomon Grundy looking action going on there.
Yeah. And this is 52. And if you think about Night of the Living Dead, it didn't come out till 68.
Yeah.
So,
dude is taking off saying, "See you, lady. You can leaving her to the monster that's coming." So I'm out of here.
What are you standing there screaming for? Run.
Yeah, she's got a lantern, and they're out at the church at night. So I don't know what they're really doing. These people put themselves in these predicaments. They're always in graveyards or out in the middle of the night.
Yep.
Hey, let's go out to this. Oh, because teenagers get away and go out to the swamp or to where is nobody going to be, so they can park their car.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
I ran out of gas.
Park the car and listen to
the old I ran out of gas right here. Oh, all of a sudden I just remembered there's gas in the car. I'm out of here. Bye. Just coming.
Yep.
And it seems like anytime I've ever found any of these books, they always have this stamp right here.
Is it a date stamp or?
No, it's some kind of, I can't read what it says, but it's a long word, and it's all blurred out. But it's on all of them, and I don't know what it is. But if you ever find one on eBay or anywhere, it's going to have that stamp on it. So
I'm curious as to whether or not it's somebody's thing that they stamped it to identify it themselves, or whether it was a store, or whether it was something that was supposed to be the old way of like cutting the or one of those ones where we used to tear the covers off, the part of the covers off, or the whole cover or whatever, in order to mark it as returned or whatnot. I wonder if
I can't make it out, but it looks like complimentary, like maybe they gave them out for free.
Oh, that could be,
but I don't know. So we got
awesome. Yeah, no, that was like that's always one of my most horrific jobs I ever had. It's one of my jobs I had in my life was working at a music land. Back in the day when we used to have music stores at the mall. We used to have malls, kids. It was a place where a bunch of stores were. You actually went there and walked around and would do your shopping.
If you wanted to find specialty stuff.
It was basically like Amazon, but like 50 different stores.
Yeah.
Remember the little listening centers?
Right. And then we'd have, music land, because all our music was physical media. We didn't have streaming stuff. I worked there, and one of the things that they also sold, they had spinner racks full of comics, and that was one of my responsibilities at the store, was the comic rack, and having to, every time when the new subscriptions would come in, pull the stuff that had been up there for I think 3 or 4 weeks, pull it off the rack, and then you would take those and you tore the covers off of them, and you then the covers would get sent back to prove that you destroyed them, so you could get your money back from the publisher, and the rest of the stuff you threw out in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
And that sometimes was some of the most painful things in the world, is to tear covers off of perfectly good comic books that now you go, wow. And we're talking about these would have all been newsstand books.
Yeah.
In the early 90s.
Yeah.
So early 90s newsstand books, when there's not a lot of newsstands laying around.
Yeah. I worked at a VHS store, and we always got all the promotional posters to hang up. And we wouldn't hang up hardly any of them, except for like the big hits like Top Gun or something.
Yeah.
Right.
So all the horror movie stuff they didn't want hanging up, or especially like the B-list stuff here in the Bible Belt. So we wouldn't even unroll it. We just throw it all away. And now you see them things on eBay and they're worth a fortune.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So especially the more obscure movies,
Yes.
You'd think it would be the bigger movies, but it's always obscure ones that's worth a lot of money.
Because there are more of the posters available over the big movies versus the little ones.
Yeah. Agreed. Here is this is haunted number 4, and this is 42. No, this is 1952.
All right. So now we're looking for the zombie who's captured the woman.
Yeah. She looks a little scared.
What is this guy saying here? This little green dot. What's his name? Is it Dr. Grant? Is that what it says?
Dr. Death.
Oh, Dr. Death. Okay. What's he saying?
It says the blind, the doomed, and the dead.
The blind, the doomed, and the dead. All right.
It's kind of like the good, the bad, and the ugly, just horror.
Right.
Well, yeah, these magazines are haunted are some of my favorites because they got a lot of detail, and they're some of the first ones I picked up. But this zombie seems to have a little bit more sense. He's holding hostages.
The zombie's holding hostage while the guy's bearing the old torch. Because nobody owns a flashlight. So
Indiana Jones look. So yeah, and I don't know if you can tell, but he's got a shotgun real low.
Oh, he's got a shotgun. Okay. Oh no, he's wearing
one hand low like that.
He's wearing a vest underneath his jacket. Okay, I thought for a second, is he bare chested? Is he doing a wrestling thing, walking around in a jacket with no shirt? No, he's got a shirt on. Okay.
Yeah, the pink shirt.
Yeah, the shotgun like that, because a long gun, while you're holding a torch.
Yeah,
break your wrist if you try shooting it like that. But go ahead.
Yeah. Right.
He's shooting from the hip.
He's gonna have to drop that torch to shoot that gun.
And it's always like an ongoing thing with pre-code horror. It's always the red lady, red dress in distress.
Yeah. Well, red dresses and yellow dresses were very common in there because they stood out tremendously and had to do with also the printing process at the time. But yeah, red dress on a blonde all the time.
Yeah.
It also made him look sexier, right? Everybody knows that a red dress makes you look sexy. Even
right,
Tylox looks
this
sexy in a red
magazine is
dress.
haunted, and we'll be done with this magazine's haunted group. This is from June of 52.
Oh yes, I love that. That looks incredible.
Another red dress in distress, So, yeah, it's a rotted zombie. It's coming out your bedroom window. She's hiding out on the roof. She probably wants to sell the house quickly. So
probably, I would. I would if I was her.
Hey, where are you? I have a boner. Wait.
Someone fact check Legion of Comics.
Women only wore red dresses pre-1967.
Yep. This one is a Slytherin horror of Snotsville Swamp. So
Snotsville Swamp.
Oh, nice.
Where do you live? I live in Snotsville.
That might be right next to Woolly Swamp.
Little known fact: Revenge of the Nerds, the character Booger, he came from Snotsville.
All right.
Dope has that collection I envy most, says Jacob.
Yes, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You got people drooling over your collection.
Well, now we're going to get to some of the better stuff. I've got categories.
Are we close to halfway, or are we?
I got let's say 4 more books and we'll be halfway there.
All right. Fair enough. I'll make sure I don't miss. Don't miss. I don't want another nerdy girl where all of a sudden I'm at the end going, "What? Oh, we missed it." Okay.
The rest of these are broke down into categories.
All right. Awesome.
I want to spotlight my favorite artist real quick. So my favorite artist is Maurice Whitman. He's the best, I think, at doing detailed horror with good girl art. His stuff's beautiful, and this is Ghost Comics 1.
Oh yes. See, that's awesome.
Like a dream state. You can see like the monster's arm is turning into clouds.
Yes.
Why do I all of a sudden want to sell all my superhero books?
This show is a dangerous show to be on, Tylox, as a host, because you see stuff, you get exposed to so much stuff that I have. There are many books I have purchased because I've seen them here on this show.
I've seen you purchase books while you're on this show. What are you talking about?
But you also feel like the tombstones are bent, so she's like in some kind of dream-like state. I don't know what's going on, but very beautiful. Maurice Whitman is very underrated. He died like in '85. But I love all his stuff, and I'll find all his books and buy them up. But I got a few examples I'm going to show y'all. So, and another red lady in distress.
Another one. Yep.
And if you look though, she's got her a pistol. She came ready.
She came past.
But of course he's turning into a mist, so you know.
Yeah, that ain't gonna help, is it?
So I guess she'll miss.
And if you look back here, there's like a guy underneath the street light.
Oh yeah, she's shooting your shot.
So Banshee Bells.
Yeah,
that's so good. I love that.
Flee the Phantoms.
Yeah. So this is Ghost 1, and Maurice Whitman. He did a lot of the Fiction House. He did Ghost Comics. He did Fight Comics. He did Jumbo Comics. He did a Jungle Comics. You name it. If it's Fiction House, he did it. So
Mark is full of apparently interesting tidbits of facts. Worthy of fact checking, maybe, but you know. I don't know.
Now we're ready for another Maurice Whitman. This is Ghost Comics 2, and more good girl art with creepy ghouls.
What is going on here?
She's like waking up and got this ghoul.
Is that a color dress or is that just see through?
I think that's see through.
Well, it would be a nightie, so you know, little bit of all that, because all of us married men know that women only wear sexy lingerie to bed.
Yeah, of course.
Falling out there.
But it's like almost like a little Gulliver's Travelers. Like all these little things that were climbing on her on the bed that she's waking up and knocking them off.
Yeah, she's terrified.
What does it say down the bottom? It says, I woke in terror. The four phantoms spies can't die.
Yeah.
Okay. Phantom spies.
But that was Ghost 2. Yeah, let's see. Now, my favorite Ghost cover of them all. It's the most simplistic of the bunch, but it's also the most morbid of the bunch. This is Ghost Comics number 4.
Oh.
And this woman is...
Yeah!
This woman is complaining. She's comprehending. She might commit suicide here, and we got all the demons around her telling her to jump.
So Mark's killing it. This one I love is that not only is she's not the one wearing red. All the ghosts are, but the fact that we went with a patterned outfit on her. That's actually very rare to see a patterned dress.
Yeah.
On a usually always solid color, but
I was about to say which is
the hemline is right up there.
I think all my grandma's dresses were patterned. They always had that like flowers or.
Well, her shoes matches her print too, so she got the green.
Well, she's wearing shoes. That's actually almost as impressive in its own right too. Most of these women on these covers tend to be barefoot somehow.
Yeah.
Well, like she's debating killing herself, and these things are telling her to jump off of the roof here.
Yeah,
and if you look the way the book's drawn, trying to run away. If you tilt the book the way it's supposed to be, she's already fallen off.
Yeah, I mean, because I can understand though, if you're trying to run away from a bunch of zombies or something, you got to take your shoes off because running in heels, as Tylox tells me, it's not easy.
No, it's very difficult.
And you also want to climb out on your ledge if you're running away from stuff.
Well, it's always good to be when you want to balance yourself on a ledge. Wearing heels is always the optimal footwear. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, you have the best balance that way. Look at Jimmy.
That is a great cover. Just so good.
Yeah, this is a Flee the Mad Fairies.
Look at it. Even like that. Look at the. I mean, it's really kind of subtle. Look at the edge of that roof line. That the edge of the house is in disrepair and it's and a splintered edge, as opposed to just drawing a straight edge.
Yeah, but then
you could have drawn a straight edge, no big deal. But no, we want to.
Look at her dress and her legs are completely straight lines, like they're all solid and everything, and then you look behind her and it's all disheveled looking and stuff. It's great.
Yeah, I mean that's the next level detail. That's just.
So and Maurice Whitman had a closet full of just books that he'd go to for references because there wasn't no internet. So if you wanted to draw, a roof line or you wanted to draw anything, you had to have something to look at, refer to.
Yeah,
either
he had books, picture books. He had books of, houses.
Architecture books, all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
because back then an artist would have drawn a business card or anything, and if you wanted something for a gutter system, he'd have to be able to draw a gutter system on a business card. He couldn't go to the internet and figure out what it looked like, So a lot of people collect. They'll have like a Superman book with say it's a Superman book with an aircraft carrier from World War II. They'll find the Time Life magazine or whatever that had the aircraft carrier in it. It's like here's where they referenced that.
Yeah,
copied it about to a T.
You talk about being a completionist.
Yeah. All right, we got one more ghost book and we'll be halfway through. This is the belle of the ball. This is the one that most people want when they collect the ghost comics. This is Ghost Comics number 6 from 1953, and it's got Red Dress in Distress. So,
that's a great pose.
We got this guy up here coming through the attic door with his pistol drawn. We got this ghoul that's got her all chained up. I don't know what he's going to do with her, but she's a beautiful lady in a red dress.
Yeah, she's got only whites in her eyes.
She's barefoot.
She's possessed.
Well, when you're in the attic, you don't need your high heels on.
Nope. Yeah. That's incredible.
So,
God.
And you said that's Ghost Comics number 6.
This is Ghost Comics number 6.
Ghost Comics number 6.
Yeah, from 1953.
Sorry, my bank account.
You might really be. You don't know. He said a lot of people are looking for this one.
Go,
Dig slow, lest you awaken the sleepers in the crypt. I mean, because this one, I'll tell you, Tyler, this is in addition to being pre-code horror, it's good girl bondage. Yeah. So the fact that she's in chains just added $300 to the cost of the book. Minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, who needs food and rent?
Well,
and if you look closely, there's always a lot of detail people don't notice, but there's another
in the shadows
back here. Can y'all see the eyes?
Yeah. We can barely see it because of the glare, but yeah, you get those in the shadows. There's no wasted space.
Yeah,
on the covers.
So there you go. That's the halfway point.
Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, that's great.
That's Maurice Whitman. If you ever want to,
yeah,
good artist.
I mean, this is what's the joy of all this is there's so many different genres that you can be in, and each genre has these just amazing histories and amazing depths when it comes to comics that is just fascinating, and you can really fall down a rabbit hole super easy. So anyways, let me let's put us here. Let's go here. Let me bring in let's share a screen. We're going to share this one. Yes. There we go. Everybody, if you don't mind, let's do hashtag the horror, which is very different than the horror. So the horror with an H. Hashtag that. We'll be doing our giveaway. meanwhile, while we're doing that, Tylox, what you got coming up this week?
This week, actually, I don't have anything coming up
Nothing.
because Saturday I have been forced to work, so there will be no hangout this Saturday, unfortunately. But then it will be back on next Saturday. And I'm also trying to line up the next tunes and collections. So I'm talking back and forth with a few people right now, waiting for somebody to go, yes, here's a date. Book it.
All right. Cool. Hey, Dope, what about you? Got anything coming up this week?
I usually try to drop a modern horror, what I pick up at my LCS on Wednesdays or Thursday, and then I'll drop another video through the week of pre-code horror or 70s horror or some kind of indie horror, and just drop 2 things a week. That's about all I try to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
How did you enjoy the Creepshow book that came out? Did you enjoy it?
Love Creepshow.
I loved it. It's so good.
It was really good. It's one of the best books I read this month.
I just realized that should get this going across here. So there you go, guys. Don't forget, check out Dope Comics on Instagram at dope_comics with an X. Also, you can look down below in the description, link to other stuff. I'll show you real quick. This is I'm not a big horror guy. Like I said, Bill, I'm a classic. Oops, wrong screen here. Let me do this. So we'll keep that up for a second. I'm a classic guy. I had picked up this one not too long ago. The first print. I came across this at a con. Just jumped out at me. Being a classic monster guy, grabbed this one and I was holding it, just thinking about it. And as I was holding it, talking to the guy who was hosting the booth, I started feeling people gathering around me as I was looking over my shoulder at this book, and they just started following me as I was walking up and down the line of this guy's boxes, people looking at me and looking at the book. I could just feel they were like waiting for me to set it down so they could pick it up and take it. It was like, all right, I am not letting this go. This is going into the PC. And this is, from 1945. This is the original edition. So these classic comics and classic illustrated is the other, right? So they reprinted them many times at different times throughout the years, where they took a literature and put them into these graphics forms. So this is the graphic form of Mary Shelley's version of Frankenstein. But this is the original edition. I was super happy to pick that up. And then my other one, it's sort of horror-esque because it ties into it a little bit, was, some of those early Shadow comics had some different horror stuff there. And we get that tentacle monster there with that our good girl kind of, not really good girl art, just a damsel in distress, really. But just a little something. That's the best I can do. I'm no Dope. All right. Anyways, let's see what we got here. We have, let me move those out of the way so we don't get them. We have 38 people in the chat. We got 30 collected. Give you guys a couple more seconds. If anybody else wants to get in, hashtag the horror. I should put that back up on the screen though. So that way it's there for us. There we go. So everyone can see it. Make sure you get that in there for the drawing for free comics. The comics we ship to US and Canada at no charge. If you're international and want to participate and we're shipping to an international address, we'll just work out the details on paying the extra shipping. Anyways, all right, I think that's enough time. Let's go ahead and spin it and see who gets some books here. Everybody, Wheel of Fish. And our first winner for today is Mr. Comics 89, yesterday's guest on OnlySlabs. All right, congratulations to you, sir. Let's go ahead and grab this over here. So, Dope, here's what's going to happen. You're going to be picking books for Mr. Comics 89. So you're going to give me a number less than 10, either from the front or from the back, or we can give it a little back to front action.
Let's do a 5th from the back.
5th from the back, he says. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. We're going to pull 6 books, so we got a few more to pull here. What's next?
Let's do 5th from the front.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right.
Let's do the third from the back. And third from the front.
All right, 2 more.
And what about the first and last book?
Very first book and very last book. Sorry, books in the middle. You guys aren't loved. But maybe next time. Somebody someday will come around and they'll love you, just like all the others.
Well, I know the guy yesterday picked the very middle, so.
Yeah. Oops, I gotta adjust this. I gotta make sure they're not flopping on and bending books. All right. Let's go here. My goodness gracious, come on. I have to say it's time to reload the box a little bit. All right, and this position here. All right, Mr. Comics 89. Here's what Dope has gotten for you today. First up, Iron Fist, Heart of the Dragon.
Okay.
Next up, oops.
Thank you, Chip.
Machine Man, the living robot.
Oh, nice.
How about some Incredible Hulk? Amazing Spider-Man. Here, this is kind of we get. This is during that whole resurrection stuff. The Sin Eater comes back to life, so kind of Halloween-esque. There you go. I think I know what book this is. This is a virgin cover, so I have to look on the back because I mistakenly did not write this on the back of the thing, but I'm pretty sure I know what it is. Oh, it is not what I thought it was. I'm glad I looked and didn't make a fool out of myself. This is Virgin variant for The Expanse comic.
Okay. What did you think it was?
I thought it was we only find them when they're dead.
Okay.
Oh, and another Spider-Man book. How about issue 81? Little Ben Reilly versus Miles Morales action.
Oh, yeah, I remember that book.
Cool. All right, there you are, Mr. Comics 89. I believe I have your information because I'm pretty sure you won before. So I'll make sure to get those out the door. If not, I know how to get a hold of you. All right. Having said that, it's time to get ourselves back into position here. And let's take a look at some more horror comics as this Halloween special continues.
There's 2 artists I beat the drum for all the time. There's Maurice Whitman and there's L.B. Cole. I thought I'd show you some L.B. Cole's next because he's like the Babe Ruth of all pre-code horror. He's without a doubt the most popular of the bunch. And everything he does is where Maurice Whitman is into detail and where Maurice Whitman's into good girl art, L.B. Cole, he's into colors. And everything he does looks like a blacklight poster. So... Okay. This is a Ghostly Weird Stories number 123.
Oh, yeah.
Where's this guy?
This is Thing from the Void. I mean, look at all the detail in the trees back there and the swamp water and the grass. And
yeah, no, he is something else. Look at the wall of text he puts right there, too. It's like, it could put a couple words. Oh, here is an entire paragraph on the front cover.
Yep.
Well, look at Thing of the Void. He even did. I mean, how long would it take to do the detail just in that? Yeah.
No, wall of is it? Oh, there's a wall. There's trees and stuff behind them. So the swamp.
Beautiful colors.
Bats in the corner, dripping blood down the weird.
Oh
just
classic.
So good.
Yeah, L.B. Cole is. I buy up everyone I don't have when I find them. So I'm always trying to buy L.B. Cole covers. Here is a really good one. This one here is Spook number 27 from January of 54.
Oh man, I love that.
And if you look
around too.
If you look like in the water, you'll see like these demons. See how it's the water, but it's a demon.
Yeah.
Up here, you got a floating head and hands on top of the water.
Yeah, there's always little Easter eggs and stuff in the backgrounds.
If you look back here, there's a boat and there's a dude hanging from the mast.
Yeah. Oh.
So,
Jeez.
He's always got cool stuff. Everything looks like a blacklight poster.
It's definitely very bold and not natural coloring, and that's just
definitely. I mean, you think about this book. It's over 70 years old now, and it's still popping like that. It would have caught your eye on the shelf when when it's sitting right outside a Mickey Mouse book or something. So, very beautiful.
Jeez.
And like right here is just for no reason, just an eyeball.
Well, because the head in the middle doesn't have any eyes, so it's a maybe you search around, you can maybe it fits.
There's another big paragraph for you too. So
all right, exactly right.
So that is another LB Cole, and here's another LB Cole.
Oh,
Jeez,
yeah.
There's the other eye.
Yeah.
There's another paragraph.
There's two on this one.
Yeah.
That's half a modern read right there.
All right,
Yeah.
let's do this. What does it say on the cover? Because we're not gonna be able to read it from here. Let me check.
No, there's no way.
Yes, I did it. I killed him. I shot him down in cold blood, but he keeps coming back for torment. He torments me. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it anymore. And that's the short one up there. So he's I guess he murdered somebody, and he's got a conscience. Is all I can figure out.
Yeah, probably. Here you got two severed heads with blood splat, plus the dead body laying with a smoking gun.
You got shadow back there.
Wow. All
really
right.
Cool stuff. And this is probably my favorite LB Cole horror cover. This one is, well, my favorite is Mask 1 and 2, but I don't have them. This is my favorite one I own. This is Blue Boat 112.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's every color right there.
Yeah. He's like coming, there's like a devil guy coming out of flames out of the ground, and he's grabbing people left and right. And back here in the smoke, you can see there's skulls in the smoke.
Oh, yeah. I'm a huge Skulls fan. I've got skulls tattooed all over me.
I love Blue Bolt is just all over the place as far as a title goes. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, it's horror, it's sci-fi. I've got some stuff that's like war stuff. I mean, it's just so
price-wise, it's all over the place too.
Yes, exactly.
You got your LB Cole stuff, and then you got some real basic kind of like a Woody Woodpecker art, and some of them, there's all kinds of. But
yeah.
And let's see. All right, I got one book here that I wanted to show y'all. It's not really horror, but it's LB Cole. Nobody's really ever seen it. There's only 5 on the census.
Ooh.
It's very beautiful. If you ever see one of these, grab it, because you never will find one. This is a White Rider Super Horse.
Whoa, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's got the Indians. But you can tell LB Cole has worked from anybody else. So there's only 5 of these, and this is the second highest graded one. It's a 6.5.
Jeez.
Real black.
What year is this from?
What year?
Yeah.
51.
51.
Oh, God.
But this is White Rider Super Horse.
Why do I feel like I've been doing this the whole time wrong?
You think about how many people's drawn comics and colored comics, and for your artwork to stick out and you be able to tell it's somebody, you got to be doing something right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his artwork's different than everybody else's. So, all right, that is all the LB Cole hour. Now, let's see. I got 5 of my favorite over here.
Oh.
This one here, it just took me 3 or 4 years to find any copy.
So before you get into this, real quick, so what if you try to generalize, what does it take to become a dope favorite?
Something I can't find, something I have to look for years and years and years. You know, the hard part about pre-code horror is you got to save your money up. That way you can pounce when it comes available. But
Right.
then it pisses me off because you got to sit there for years, even though you have the money, and there's just not none available. And they always come available when you least expect it. And I found them in the weirdest places. But when you're looking for something there's only 5 of in the world or 7 of, it's hard to. You might be waiting 20 years for a copy, but you got to be ready to pounce when it comes open.
So it is a thing where you find maybe pictures or hear about these books, and then you file it away in your head. Okay, if I ever see that, I need to be ready to get it.
And you have no idea what it's going to go for because they don't sell. Okay. You're like, okay, I'm going to think it's going to go for this, and you don't really know, you know. So it's very frustrating. But I like the fact that nobody else has this stuff. You know what I mean? You can't just be a rich guy and jump into this and think you're going to get it because there's nothing to buy. You know what I mean? So,
right.
You know, you can't just overnight decide I'm going to start collecting horror comics and find some of this stuff. So, you got to do the hunt.
You can decide that you're going to start collecting it, but whether or not you actually start a collection or not, that's a different ball of wax.
Yeah.
Tylox has decided he's going to start collecting these, but it may be years before he has two that he can start to call a collection.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's going to take me years to be able to afford probably some of them.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to save up first, and then there's so many things that tempt you along the way. You know, you might see a ASM 129 that's a good deal, or you might see something like that, and you're like, nope, I'm holding out for this book. It may not ever come available.
Yeah,
and it really ain't fun. But when you get it, it's like overwhelming because I mean, you know that how long it took you to find it.
It's
literally,
like
I've gotten Ghost Comics #6 written down in LB Cole, and that's it. That's all I've got.
You wrote down LB Cole. You poor.
Yeah,
you're going to be poor. Sorry.
So starting off small, you know.
That's like me going, oh yeah, I want to collect a bunch of sci-fi Schomburg.
Well, that's the great thing about me, Rob. I have this childlike way of looking at collecting comics, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes I bite off way more than I can chew. So I get good at chewing.
There you go.
This book here is a ghost. You can't never find it. There's 7 on the CGC census. They never come available. I looked and looked and looked and looked, and the best time I found 2 books Monday morning at 4 o'clock. When I go to work, I get on there and look before work because people put stuff on eBay, you know, Sunday night for a week.
Right.
And then the West Coast, East Coast different, you know, 4 o'clock on Central Time, they ain't been on there long once it hits the market.
Yeah.
And so 2 of my books that's the rarest, I found a Monday morning at 4 o'clock. And this is one of them. After looking for 3 to 5 years, I found this Out of Night #8. And this one is a really rare, hard book to find. I don't know why. The other Out of Nights are not that hard to find, but this one is very hard to find. You got this Frozen Chief, and it's got a cult following. There's people that make T-shirts of this. It's on lunch boxes. You can find it on a lot of stuff, but this actual book's really hard to find.
Huh.
So, if you ever see one, grab it.
It's not the beginning or the end of the run?
No. It's #8 from 53. It's nothing real morbid, but it's super hard to find. And I enjoy the hunt. And matter of fact, after I found this book, there's only 7. As soon as I found this book, another one popped up on eBay about a week later. And I bought it too. So
now he's hoarding them.
Well, I mean, they're so hard to find, and that's the way it works. You can't find one, and then as soon as you buy one, another one pops up. So you wait 4 or 5 years, and you got 2 of them.
He's got 2 of them, but now he can decide down the road, and somebody else has got something that he wants, and somebody's looking for that they could trade. He's got something valuable for trade bait or something, right? He's like, oh, okay. Well.
This one here is an Eerie #12, Avon. This is the first appearance of Dracula in comics.
Oh, well, in that case, you know, that deserves.
Actual Dracula.
Yeah!
You know, a lot of people like Tomb of Dracula 1, but the Marvel book from the 70s, but this is the first ever actual appearance of Dracula in comics. So, Beautiful book.
And did they put that on the label too by chance or?
Yep. Yeah. Let's see. I
There
don't
we
know if
go.
you can see it or not, but it says right there. It says first Dracula in comics. It adapts the Bram Stoker's novel.
Oh,
Nice.
It's the first time he's been called Dracula. So
Right. Awesome. Holy cow.
And if you look at his green hair, he kind of looked like the Joker back in the day.
He did.
He didn't have the black hair there.
Well, it's kind of that undead look that they were going for. It's just
got the guy running down there. And this one I looked for forever, had a hard time finding it, and my kids got it for me for Father's Day. So
well.
I can't get rid of that.
So sentimental on top of it.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Here's another one that took me years to get. This is the last. This is Tomb of Terror 16. This is the last number in the run. Here's your underwater cover.
Oh.
We got the love tunnel going through there.
Yeah.
Red dress in distress back there. Got this dude getting choked by a zombie underwater. You see all the bones in the water?
Going, gone.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get that over for you.
Death is for sale, and there are plenty of buyers in. Going, gone.
Oh, that kind of reminds me of that Megadeth album, Peace Sells, but who's buying?
Yeah. So there's that one. And now for my favorite two pre-code horror books over here.
Ooh.
This is a really, really hard book to get. And I know three people with this book. Me, Man Cave, and Metarog. Metarog looked 35 years for a copy. And finally, he found one at the flea market of all places. And he got his dirt cheap.
Yep, that's where you find it.
Me and Man Cave had to pay up. But Man Cave showed this one a couple days ago on here.
Yes. Witchcraft there.
Wasn't that the book that Jerry did for him?
Yep. Yeah,
I watched that series.
Yeah, it's this one is a Kelly Fleece cover, and Jerry the Jitterbug had to take his and reconstruct it and everything, put it all back together.
Mm-hmm.
There's Witch of Death, Where Zombies Walk, and Warlock of Manskew Mountains.
And this one's got, it's a painted cover.
Yeah.
Got a beautiful redhead on there.
Alex Ross got it.
Yeah. So we're part of the Witchcraft 5 Club. So
this is the one we were talking about. It's like running barefoot through the bones. It's like that's worse than Legos, people.
Yes,
I mean it's just
Legos, I guarantee it.
Well, I love the fact that they went with all the green because you usually don't see green on a cover,
Right.
A horror cover anyway. So
very, very cool.
And now for my favorite pre-code horror book of all time.
Oh, here we go.
This one took me years and years and years. And I wanted a raw copy. I just wanted any copy. But one day at 4:00 in the morning when I was getting ready for work, the best copy in the world showed up. This one here is from this is a pedigree book from the Davis Crimpton copy. This is Beyond #1.
Yeah!
If you look at them nasty old fingernails and them detailed eyes.
That is so awesome. I mean, I'd love to actually compare. I wish I could compare that to like the Wolfman poster and something.
Yeah, I mean, this here came out of the Davis Crimpton D copy. It came out of the pedigree. This is one of the world's largest collections, and over 2,000 of his books got stolen, and they were missing for 15 years, and this was one of them. So when they got the 2,000 books back, they made a pedigree out of them.
Okay.
And there's your stories across the bottom.
The Phantom Puppet, Master of the Undead. Damn.
But this is a really, really hard. I've never seen this book for sale. This is the only copy I've ever seen for sale.
I mean, even raw or anything, nothing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Put it on your eBay searches and let me know when you ever find one. I've had one on my searches since probably 2012. And that's the only one I've seen.
That's just awesome.
All right, now we're gonna switch gears again. We got one more category.
All right.
Okay.
We talk about pre-code horror and the whole, the whole code authority and all that, and none of these books are that bad, I don't think.
Right.
I think what made the pre-code horror bad was the crime side of it.
Yeah.
So, I've got 6 crime books here that shows why the pre-code horror went into effect. So stuff like Fight Against Crime 17. The crime books are a lot more violent than than what we call horror. But you got like people get stabbed in the head.
Too bad you're gonna. What is it?
Yeah, she says I killed him, and I'm glad to see the knife in his neck makes me happy. Happy, I hated him. And then the guy behind her, he's saying, "Too bad you're not going to enjoy it, sister. He was my brother, and now I'm going to kill you." And he's pushing her onto these railroad tracks where the train's coming.
Ah.
So we're starting out a little mellow.
A little mellow.
Yeah, compared to these other ones. And then here we got, Shock and Suspense number 6 from 1953. We got the Klan beating a girl with a whip. Getting a little bit more dangerous. If your kid brought this home with a Baby Ruth and a RC Cola, you'd be like, couldn't you get like a Mickey Mouse book or something else, But this is probably the most.
I can't decide whether I like horror books more or whether I would like to get was it crime books?
Yeah, I love them all because they're all considered pre-code horror. And a lot of times these crime books are scary to me because this is stuff that really could happen. You know what I mean? Here's a Vault of Horror 31. This guy smashed this dude's face with a hammer. You can see where his head used to be. All the blood.
Oh, that's incredible.
Out in the rain.
This could have been the scene at Nancy Pelosi's house.
Oh, shots fired.
Every time I see this, I think about Hammer Smash Face by Cannibal Corpse.
Oh, yeah.
But his head is smashed in. You got the guy back there. Blood all over the floor, out in the rain.
Interesting tidbit. They still can't play that song in Germany.
Huh.
I don't know why. They just banned that one song. Banned come there and play anything else, but not that song.
And if your kid came home with this book, you'd probably be alarmed. This is Vault of Horror number 37.
Oh.
Jeez.
This book's all about suicide, so I don't know if you really want your kid reading this.
Yes. No, that is
And that's the thing. The closer you get to 55, the more crazier the comics had to be because they just had to outdo themselves every time and get more and more violent.
That angle too is just it's a very different angle than what you usually see that point of perspective of. That's very interesting.
Yeah, the shadow back there gets me. So, looks like a bell tower or something.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be in a bell tower.
So. I think the preacher committed suicide. And what else we got? We're down to 2 books and we'll be done. This is pretty bad. This is Crime Suspense 24. This is 8 of 54, so we're really close to the comic book authority. This is a guy chopped up in a bathtub.
Oh, yeah.
And look at the wicked looking face he's got.
Always sounds like a good idea, but let me tell you, folks, splatter will be your enemy and will be your undoing.
Yep. Doesn't work now. May have worked in the 50s.
Yeah. So, stuff like this when your kid brought it home kind of did them in. And the last book that made Crime Authority pissed, or the Code Authority, this is a Crime and Suspense Stories number 17. It looks like a guy is getting his brains blown out by somebody else. But if you look in that mirror back there, you can see that he's committing suicide.
Well, you can you can also see it just behind the trade dress. You can see the blast.
Yeah.
Yep.
With some matter.
That's incredible.
Biomatter in there.
But see that right back there in the mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see that it's his own arm, even though it looks like a different color shirt because of the angle. But if your kid brings home stuff like this, this is why we have the Code Authority.
Well, but it's also in the mirrors where you can really see the head exploding too.
Yeah.
See if I can get that. But yeah, it's this book is one of my favorite. It's very gruesome, but it's important.
Yeah.
So, and cool book.
Flip it a minute. What does it say in the upper right corner on that one?
Just classic suicide covers, about the only thing useful.
Classic suicide. That's good to know. It's just classic, folks. There's a lot of. I'm glad to know.
For the people that collect classic suicide covers, this is it. So
there you go.
Oh my good.
Got his wife back there watching, like, what the hell?
What could be his mistress? We don't know they're married. I don't see a wedding ring on his hand.
Yeah, she wrecked the Lamborghini and he's pissed. So.
She's threatening to blackmail him, tell his husband, his wife. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, dope, phenomenal. Oh my goodness. Thank you, sir, for coming on, doing this special with us and sharing these books. This is absolutely an incredible collection.
I felt honored. I know you've had a bunch of other Preco guys on here, and to have me as the Halloween guy, I was happy to do it.
Well, people tell when I talk to people and they're saying, no, you got to have dope on for Halloween. Mm-hmm. Dope's the man. And it's like, okay. I mean, I know that, we've had some others in there, but I like to throw them in there for October because October's also not just, Halloween's not just one day. If Christmas can have frickin' from August on, then Halloween can have all of October, damn it.
Yeah, it's all year for me. That's about all I collect. So.
That's awesome. All right. Well, it's time for us to do another giveaway. Let me see. Oh, I know what? I didn't even get this prepped because I'm an idiot sometimes. So we'll just go. All right. So let's go ahead and we'll just simply do it again. OnlySlabs. Today's plural. Yesterday was singular. So OnlySlabs there. And we will go ahead and do our second giveaway here. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm super stoked. Then of course everybody tune in next Saturday. We're back to our own one. We'll have from Instagram DJ E3 is going to be on. He's got an incredible lot of books coming up. And then let's see, we're going on, guys. We'll have in the chat right now. The week after that, it's going to be Team Ohana. They're going to be on here. Special. I want to bring them up just to shout out while they're here and everyone's here. Shout out to Team Ohana and their very generous donation. 12 comic book slabs that went to the Comics Curing Cancer last week. Phenomenal. Big step up. We really appreciate. And thanks to them and everyone else who donated, whether they donated materials or donated in acquiring items from the auctions and such, or shared message, whatever. We're now past the $23,000 mark and gunning on 24,000. So that's great. If you didn't get a chance to donate, you missed the whole C3 last weekend, don't worry. The event is still open through the end of the year. If you go down below in the description here, if you go down, there's either a link for it or there's my link tree, which has a link to the donate to the C3, or you can go to the communities tab of my channel here and you'll be able to also donate to C3. Other ways that you can donate to C3 if you want it. Also, don't forget, you could, if you want to get some books pressed, Rogue Trader, Utah.com, you can use the code FATSTACKS and get 20% off your pressing, including already discounted bundles. And when you do, $10 from your submission is donated to Comics Curing Cancer. And then finally, of course, there's the merch store, fatstacksmerch.com. All the OnlySlabs and Fat Stacks merch there. I put up some new merch even just last night. That stuff, all proceeds from that all go to Comics Curing Cancer. I guess then finally, the real finally is that this channel is actually approaching 1,000 subscribers. Tell a friend or subscribe yourself if you're not already. But if you are subscribed, tell a friend, let them know. When we get to 1,000, the channel will monetize, and all the monetization from the channel will again also go to Comics Curing Cancer. So anyways, having said all that, we have ourselves 32 people who've hit their hashtag. I think we've given everybody enough time. So let's go ahead and spin this wheel. Even though it's not a wheel, it just sounds like the right thing to say.
It's a wheel. We just can't see it.
And Blue Hellion Comics.
Oh,
Congratulations, sir. All right. Tylox, this will be your turn.
Okay.
To select some books here for Blue Hellion Comics. So same old thing. Let me make myself big here, and front, back.
Let's do what not a lot of people do. We'll show the middle some love. Let's do 6 in the middle.
Just grab 6 books for the middle.
Dead in the middle. 6 dead in the middle.
I'll take 3 from either side of where I just put my finger. Then.
Yep, that'll work. See,
I told you guys would get some
middle book.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Good luck to you, Blue Hellion.
Oops. Again with my. All right, we'll reload that later. All right. First up, DC Superstars of Space, featuring these recent reprints from Adam Strange Adventures.
Beautiful color on that one.
Yeah, great book.
Oh, yeah. I love the stars in the trade dress.
We have an exclusive variant of The Tick. This is signed by Ian C. Nichols.
There you go.
Artist on the Tick.
Nick's Tick.
We have this is an old book. Now, this is in rough condition somewhat, but it's a reader copy, and it's just sometimes it's fun to get these. Some old Adventures comics. Extra feet Tales of the Bizarro World.
Nice. Good pull, Tylox.
Yeah.
Here's a book that if you it's not worth a lot, but man, they grade generally well. It's kind of fun. From New 52 Detective Comics. This is issue 23.2. This is the lenticular screens, or kind of 3D ones. Actually, they're more 3D than lenticular so much.
Yeah,
they grade really well because they're this hard plastic kind of cover.
Yeah,
but when you get these and you really look at them, you take the plastic out, the depth on them is mind-boggling. How the depth of detail, the 3D layers and stuff, just phenomenal.
Good chance you can get a 9.9 or a 10 out of those sometimes.
Yeah, I've submitted. I have 5 of these. Not this particular issue. I have 1 of this issue and some other ones that I've submitted. Granted, I submitted them to PGX back in the day, but 3 of them are 10s and 2 of them are 9.9s. This is a beautiful. I love this cover. This is a Battle Lines variant for the Superior Octopus #1.
Nice.
So this is Superior Octopus, which was just before his run as the Superior Spider-Man as a separate when he moves out to San Francisco. But this is just a great cover. This Battle Lines variants, just awesome. Love Doc Ock. And then a book that it belongs in your PC only if you're a Spider-Man fan, but if you're a Spider-Man fan, it also doesn't belong in your PC. Just because what it represents to all of us who love MJ and Peter together. There's the start of One More Day.
Yeah.
I like the white backgrounds and blue slogans.
I have that book and the Mephisto book. I love both of them because they're white backgrounds with just the
Yeah.
They pop.
So there you are, sir. Congratulations, Blue Hellion Comics.
I'm glad I picked you some good books.
We'll get those out to you, Dan. Again, I have your information. I just shipped stuff to you. Of course, I just shipped stuff to you the other day for C3. That's all right. We'll get this on out to you. Dan Blue Hellion. All right, everybody. I really appreciate y'all taking some time away from football and your families to come spend a second day with me here. Special thanks to also Tylox for filling in for Chris the Comic Vet, in case any of you really came in late and thought it was Chris is dressed up for Halloween. No, it wasn't. And then Dope, of course, thank you very much. I know we had to juggle the schedule, and I really appreciate your flexibility and desire and love to be here.
Yeah,
I know it's not going to be fun. We're going to see each other again in December. Comes before you know it. I mean, actually, you're already on the. For anybody who's looking at the channel and looking at the schedule of upcoming shows, you're already on the schedule again because we're taking Thanksgiving weekend off.
We're doing
Rob, I don't
superheroes.
know what you're talking about, eh?
We do some superheroes. That's great. Yeah, absolutely. So, everybody, thanks very much. Let you go back to watching football and spending time with your family, or you can just, if you don't want to spend time with your family, you can just hit replay and replay this video and pretend like it's still live. They'll never know.
Never know.
They'll never know. How they're going to know? How would they know?